live.
Are we
We're
live?
live. Yeah, yeah.
Yay!
I did it, except I went to the wrong darn screen. But hey.
Good evening, everybody. All the billions of people listening to us tonight. And I
Woohoo!
especially want to say hi to all them foreigners out there, you know, people from outside of Arkansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Kansas.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, everybody
We love
also
you
is foreigners.
They're all
Yeah, we love
foreigners.
you.
That's
Excuse me.
okay. You're welcome to come and find out a little bit more about us.
Yes. Come
today
on
is-
down.
Today is my day, Arkansas Day, so I've taken over the airwaves. And I want to say hi to the people in Zimbabwe. I know they're tuned in. And yeah, all those people in the lower part of Australia. Northern Australia is not tuned in too much yet. Yeah.
Not yet. Not yet. They'll get there.
Maybe I'm a little off. I think we have 5 people.
Are you looking at the analytics?
Maybe 10. I don't know. I don't know what I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you. I don't even have my stuff up, so I don't even know what's going on.
Oh, okay. Well, if you looked at your analytics on Spotify, it'll tell you what countries are listening in.
I don't know that kind of stuff. I ask
We have
you.
47 people watching.
We'll get it
47?
back to me, and we will.
I made that up.
And I will take a look, see, and we'll see what countries are watching us right
That's
now.
right. But the most importantly, we're
It's
going
the
to talk
guest.
about is what?
The guest.
We do have a guest. Hi. Yeah, I have Mr. Wayne Inman from the Arkansas Ghost Hunters of Crawford County.
Right.
And introduce yourself other than what I just said.
Well, you said it all. No, my name's Wayne Inman. I have a group called the Arkansas Ghost Hunters of Crawford County. We've been started the group up about 2010, I guess it was. A little bit. You were involved in it more than I have, Adrian. So, but we been doing a lot of things around the area and really enjoying it. We keep on learning every time we go around and do things. So, you don't know what else to say. So it's, hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. Yeah,
That was great.
Woohoo! It worked.
well, I know we've known each other for a little while. I mean, we I guess found each other through the Arkansas Expo, Paranormal Expo, because I helped you out with your radio program, the Arkansas Paranormal Network. Do you still run that?
Yeah, I don't. It's not as much as we used to. I like to be. We're still trying to work on trying to get it back up and running again.
Yeah.
But the show is called Tapping, the Arkansas Paranormal Network.
Yeah, so I know we got together and got to talk on that for a little while, and that was a good time. And I thought about having a radio program before that, and I was like, hey, that's cool, I'll do that. And then I thought about joining yours a little more full time, and then life is as it is. So I got busy, and then I couldn't do it. And now I'm a real boy with a real job and daytime stuff, and I can do stuff. So it's like, hey, we started this show. But I'm highlighting, like, I wanted to highlight the central part of the United States here, our wonderful area of town, or the states. And what I wanted to bring up specifically is events and things for people who are interested in the paranormal to go and have fun and do it. I mean, as a paranormal investigator, I make my own fun. I go out there and do that stuff. But we know there's a lot of fans out there. So you do your ghost walks there in Van Buren, right?
Yeah, we started Ghost Walks up probably about 15 years ago, I guess it was. And what it is basically is we take everybody through town here in Van Buren and tell them the history of Van Buren after dark. It's about a 40-minute walk through town. And like I said, we tell everybody the history of Van Buren. And there's a lot of history buffs out there like that. And there's a lot of people that likes to be out after dark. So
yeah,
it kind of goes together. And we've had a really good response about it. And we've found out a little dark secrets about Van Buren a lot of people don't know about, and that's part of our little tour that we give and explain what's going on. So
Oh,
everybody
yeah.
likes it, you know.
The Van Buren's kind of a creepy town anyway, so
Well, yeah, you know, Van Buren is. We always say it's a crossroads to when way back when all the stagecoaches and all the trains and stuff would end up in Van Buren anyway. It was kind of a crossroads from northeast, south, and west. So they had a lot of shootings and stuff like that here in town. And Van Buren was very, very active in the Western times of actually supplying. Van Buren supplies a log town, we call it Log Town Hill. They slide the logs down the hill, shipped them over to Fort Smith, and helped them build the fort. So that was one of the things that we tell everybody.
Nice.
yeah. So you said you've been doing that for how long?
It's been about 15 years.
15 years.
Mhm.
So yeah, and just picking, just walking down that street, and with all the old buildings, I'm sure there's all kinds of stuff there. You got probably a lot of what would you say is your favorite? You know, don't give away your thing because you want people to come, but what would you say is your favorite story of that walk, or your favorite building of that walk?
Well, the one I tell everybody about here in town just to get everybody's attention is the story that where my guys or my team was in one of the buildings here in town doing an investigation. And I'm not too, shabby on telling what it is because it's something that's affected all of us as the time is. There's a building here in town called the old Freemason building.
Yeah.
It's 3 stories tall. It was built back in 1896 as a Freemason building. The building's still standing. At the time that we were taking people in there, at one time we could take people up in there until they sold it, and they told us we couldn't anymore. But the temple was still upstairs. Everything was intact. So the building was very active. But anyway, we were doing an investigation there one night, and we were taking a break. My guys were taking a break, and we had to have somebody stay inside and watch the equipment because all night long we had all these something moving cameras and taking our cords and pulling them and trying to yank the DVRs out and everything else all night long in this building. So my guys decided to take a break, and I stayed inside, and I felt this pressure coming down. There were 68 steps from the bottom to the top of this thing. And I kept feeling this pressure coming down behind me. And every time I turned around to take a picture, there was always this big orb, one single orb in the stairwell coming down the steps, nothing else around it, no dust, no nothing, just a big bright orb. And anyway, it came down towards me, and I kept acknowledging it was there. And all of a sudden, I tell everybody, I say, you know how when you turn on a water hose or somewhere you get that rush of air? Well, that's what I got. Turned around, took a picture of a full mass.
Yeah.
They opened the door and threw me out in the streets. And then I ended up in the striped area on the street facing the opposite direction of the building.
It threw you out.
Wow.
Threw me out probably about 15 feet. I landed about midsection of the road. And I happened to turn around and look at the building, and the door shut and it locked.
It's like, Ed, stay out.
Wow.
It locked on you?
Fortunately, I had the key with me, but it did lock the door. But after that, my guys kind of asked me, like, what in the world did you do? And I said, well, I just threw myself out of the building, just joking. And I said, no, something just threw me out of the building. And then also it was game on.
Wow.
I tell that to everybody. And that building is actually one of the buildings we tell everybody to take pictures at when we're doing our tours here in town.
That's great. That's a great
Wow.
story.
So that came down the steps towards you and then knocked you out the door?
Yeah, it physically opened the door up and just pushed me, or like a big rush of air, and I ended up in the middle of the street. And
That's
then
wild.
And then I heard the
Wow.
door.
That is crazy. I mean, I've been places where the spirit will lock people in or out. And it's like Hello, can somebody
Yeah.
come let me out? Cause it's a double key.
I've
Yeah,
never had a
well,
door. I never had a
But
door lock on me.
I had the key with me, so
Oh, okay, well, that's
I didn't
good.
leave it laying
Wow.
down up there, but I had the key with
Thank
me.
goodness, huh?
Hey, shot. We just had that happen Saturday night where I was. The door wouldn't stay shut, so we were all inside, little church museum. One of them locked the door with a twist, and next thing you know, they walk away, and I'm sitting there in a chair about 10 feet away, not even that far, and all of a sudden I hear click, and the door comes flying open again with the wind.
Yeah.
And it's like, really, guys, how do you keep this place locked at night?
Yeah. Need to wedge that door.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy what they can do for it, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
us.
That's the biggest story I tell everybody here in town about the big building that
Yeah.
we.
So you said you were coming down the stairs. You could sense it behind you.
Well, I wasn't coming downstairs. I was actually standing beside the door that
Oh.
it came in down the stairs. I could hear footsteps, sound like somebody coming down the steps. And then when I flipped around to take a picture, it was just a big bright orb in the center of the stairs. Darkness all around it. Couldn't see no dust, nothing. It's just this big
Just
bright
that
orb.
one big bright orb. Yeah.
And as you come down the stairs, it comes down to like 5, and then it's got a little landing, then it comes down another 5, another little landing all the way down. And each time I could turn around, it was at a different level of that steps. And finally, it just rushed me.
Yeah. That's crazy. That is crazy.
Wild.
Did you get any marks or anything from it?
No, I didn't get any marks. Now we've had people go in and come out with significantly amounts of scratches on
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
It scratched me. That make me mad.
them.
I want to
Any
go.
idea what that could possibly be?
What?
Any idea what it could be or who it could be?
No, we never did I mean, there were so many different entities in there. We just could not figure out what it was, but it was just that active. Right now, I assume they've cleansed the place or whatever, but there are people living in that building right now. So
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
So did you say that was a Masonic lodge up on the top floor?
yeah.
It could have been the person who is the like the guard.
Oh, that guards the door. Yeah.
That guards door, because it's a private thing, and you have to have a pass or something to actually get in.
Yeah,
and they're like, this guy, we get rid of him.
Yeah, and here we are taking, they don't let, supposedly at that time, they never allow women in the temple.
Oh, true.
And here we are piling women in the temple. And
yeah.
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 And like I said, up there on the top floor of the door, it even had the symbol of the door where they had to raise it up and get the code.
Right.
All that was intact. Everything was there.
Well, the reason you got it was because you were the ringleader.
Yeah. You're bringing
all these ladies up. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
He-Man.
Yeah. So
Right.
it's like,
Right smack in the middle of the He-Man Women Haters Club.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
That
I'm glad you didn't get too hurt.
Right?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just a shock, a surprise that happened. And on the second floor of the building back in the early 60s and 70s, maybe mid 70s, KFDF radio did broadcasting there. And I've talked to a bunch of people that was working in that building at that time. And they said they had activity back then going on. They just couldn't talk about it because it was a hush-hush thing.
Oh, gotcha. So did you say you were taking pictures? Did anything come out on the pictures?
Just the big bright orb.
Just a big
like
blob.
Yeah.
Three-dimensional, or just kind of flat?
It was 3-dimensional. It was
okay. All right.
All around it,
Wow.
we did get a real good picture, and unfortunately I don't have it with me. Like I said, it's on my other computer.
Now for everybody out there, right? Wayne was telling us before we went live to all you billions of people listening.
Or is it 1,000,000,001 now?
1,000,000,001, and that he had some computer issues, and now you're not sure if you lost your data or you just
I still got it. It's just all my stuff is in storage.
Because because you had the building issue.
Yeah, we had our ceiling fell through, and because it's our building that we're in was built back in 1872, and it's been through a lot of stages and everything, and the recent owner doesn't take care of it like it should.
That's sad.
So,
Maybe you
so
need to
anyway,
move into a newer building.
well, I mean, we would, but this building has a historical
Oh yeah,
factor
no, I get it.
because the person back then that built it ran for presidency back then as well.
Oh, wow.
And so this building's kind of got a special meaning to it. So it was actually a grocery store when they built it.
wow.
Matter of fact, if you look out on the side of the building, it has a ghost sign up there. It says Brian's Corner Market or Food Market on
Yeah.
the corner there. So
That's
it used
awesome.
to be a big old grocery store set here on the corner. And so, but the guy who ran for it, I can't remember the guy's name, but his house is actually up above the railroad tracks going up 59. They're actually up there restoring it as well. So.
Oh,
Cool.
them
Interesting.
old
Now I want to
buildings.
go.
I know.
I want to go.
Van Buren's got a lot of good histories and stuff. Now, our first building we was doing when I put the group together was the old Anheuser-Busch building, which is right next door to us over here.
Is that the one where I went to when we met? Because you moved since
oh,
yeah, because that was years ago.
yeah, that was when I
Yeah.
first started.
Yeah. No, that's crazy.
Wow.
So how often do you do these ghost walks?
We have them second and fourth weekend of every month. And we also do private tours if everybody want to do private tours, and they're first and third weekends of every month.
Yeah. And how much does it cost per person?
Well, if you do just the walk, it's $15 a person.
That's not bad.
Now if you do a walk and an investigation, which will take you into a building to do an investigation, it's $25 a person.
And that's actually a really good deal. I
That's
mean,
Yeah, it
reasonable.
to do
Not
that.
bad at
So,
all.
and
And then we also have one more thing. We have picked up Adrian. No, it's not the hospital you think.
no,
We
I
have-
was going to talk that next. We'll get there in a second. We'll get there. Let's stay on your ghost walk. That's where I'm going. I'm going to segue there. And just,
Well, the ghost,
He has a plan.
I got a plan.
the ghost walk is part of the ghost walk, but we're actually raising money
Yeah.
for a private hospital that is actually 30 minutes drive from here. So it's not the one you're thinking, probably. I don't know if you're thinking.
No, I asked you about that. And you told me a little about it. And then here you're getting ready to tell you billions of people. But but if, let's say, how would they get a hold of you to do a ghost walk with people? I know you got somebody right now on our chat who said that would be really cool, like do it. So how would he get a hold of you?
They can come by our office at 522 Main Street, Van Buren, or they can give us a call at 479-279-0202 and just leave a message, and we'll get back with them.
All right. And we'll have you plug that again a little later. Now we could talk about this other play, because I thought that was pretty interesting. I know we've done events at a certain hospital, and I know that people ask me, are they doing events at that hospital? I said, no. And you told me what it was, and I forgot.
For shame.
Well, because I'm not investigating that much anymore. I'm doing specific things, kind of, and we'll talk about what Terry does later. So I'm not really doing the investigating all that much. You're gonna do some fun stuff, but I wanted, but I asked you about it. And you told me about it. It sounded interesting. So when you say the hospital, what is that?
The hospital. It's a hospital, Adrian.
I know.
I'm
But
just
it's not like they're doing a walk through Mercy. So what kind of hospital was it?
It was built, the hospital is not what you call a 6-story tall, quarter-mile long hospital like
Yeah.
nowadays.
Yeah.
It's actually a hospital built back in the 1900s. It's a old Victorian home that's actually built as a hospital. And it was a maternity hospital.
A maternity hospital?
Yes. And they had delivered 4,800 babies there and lost one
Wow.
mother and
That's
child.
a lot.
That's way
So,
too many babies.
That's a lot
But
of
it-
names.
yeah,
Yeah. I
So
wonder
you're-
how many of them are the same.
But the hospital
Well, go ahead.
was actually it probably did more than just the babies too, because it was
Mm.
actually just in the hospital that was kind of in between here and the next city hospital. So they probably had things, people stopped by and for other deals too, but it was basically a maternity hospital.
Yeah. Hey, that's cool. So,
That is
and you
cool.
said, when was that built? You said about when was that built?
1900s.
1900, sometime in 1900. So that's pretty cool. So, what kind of things have you experienced there?
Well, we believe that the doctor who was there, uh, he passed away there at the hospital anyway. They found him slumped over his desk, and he had
Oh.
a heart attack. So
That's
he
how I'm
passed.
gonna die. I'm gonna die at work. I'm never gonna enjoy retirement.
Right.
But in this hospital, they have his desk, his chair, his medical bag, and everything that he worked with was actually in this hospital.
Yeah.
So the desk that he passed away is actually still there. So, it's a like I said, it's 2 stories tall. It's got 4 rooms upstairs. The people that are trying to preserve it is actually got a museum in it, but they're not making a lot of money off of it. So we come around and told them, say, hey, we can do this for you. And I've been talking to the mayor of the city and stay in touch with him a lot. And he told us, well, here you go. Gave us the key to the building and said, it's all yours.
No, right on.
So we have the key for the building, and that's a part of our ghost walks. And this is actually $30 a person to stay overnight. We do a 4-hour investigation in there, and then you sleep the rest of the night.
Yeah.
You have to sleep in the hospital.
Right on.
Can we do
But
it? We want to
Huh?
do it.
what?
I said we want to do it.
But everything we raise money for that hospital, we don't keep for ourselves. We give it back to the hospital. That way.
Okay.
So,
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm all on board for that. I'd like to help
Yeah.
out and I help you advertise that event because that's a cool thing. How often do you do that?
we're doing it second and fourth weekend of every month. That's part of our ghost walks.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Wow, that's great.
So it's that the investigation you're talking about. If you want to do,
Well, no, we have an investigation here in town.
yeah,
Well, but the special one, the hospital, we're advertising Ghost Walk, the haunted hospital. So the Ghost Walk has the investigation in it, but the hospital's separate, but we advertise it all together.
what kind of things happen at the hospital?
At the hospital, the doctor loves women, believe it or not.
Oh,
Really. But we can take a group of women and put them in a room and take our static devices, put it down in front of the door and back off. And about 30 seconds after the girls walk into the room, the static machine lights up and shows which way the doctor is going. It's
oh
usually
yeah.
into the room. And then the girls can come back out and it'll just do that complete, all in all directions. So he likes the girls a lot. The guys go in, he comes out of the room. You can see him actually leave the room when the guys go in. So, but we hear footsteps. It's an intelligent haunting. He will answer you and he will interact with you.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
so, but it's what we call a gentle haunting because he's not there to hurt you. He's not there to go home with you. He's there. He's happy to be there. We've heard women's talking, children talking, tons of footsteps and lots of orbs.
It doesn't throw you out the door.
No, unfortunately.
Oh, that's good.
Not yet.
Not as of yet, anyway.
Yeah, yeah. And then of course the house sits on the grounds. There's two big trees out there on the grounds that has activity in those trees. And a lot of people say, they feel one tree feel bad, one trees feel good. So it kind of depends on how you feel.
Did you say activity in the trees?
Yes, these trees have a lot of activity, not bird wise.
Yeah.
I know where you're going, Adrian, but
No, that strikes me as odd. I'm trying to figure out what you mean by activity in the trees.
well, one of the trees, put it this way, one of the trees, we call it a dark tree because it is darker than the rest of the trees around the property.
Yeah.
Oh, weird.
And if you go to the tree, a lot of people picks up vibes.
Yeah.
And on this tree is actually the old, how they have a tree house and you build the little runs that goes up to the.
Yeah.
Well, this tree has those runs in it.
So you think something negative happened down it?
Yeah, it feels like some kind of something bad happened in that.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Now there's another tree that's a little farther down, and they call it it glows, and you can see it at nighttime. You can see it. It's just out there by itself. It glows, and a lot of people said that tree has positive attitude or activity to it, not negative.
Positive attitude. I like that.
Positive attitude, not negative. But yeah, it's there's two different trees there on that ground.
Then all the other trees are just like meh trees, right? Meh.
Well, no, these trees have been there so long, they're big and old, and so they're the biggest trees around out there. So
Well,
they're isolated. There's other trees around it, or
oh yeah, I mean, but it's not the what we call the dark tree. It sits out behind the house, probably about 20 feet. And then the nearest tree is up in front, and it's a big pine tree. So it's probably, 60, 70 feet away from it. But the grounds is, they use it for setting up tents and stuff. It's like a fairground out there in the back.
Yeah.
Okay.
They got it all other than these two big trees.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just interesting. Makes you wonder what happened there to cause that energy to be there. I mean, I do believe that there are energies, and there are places that I go that I just get kind of a weird feeling. And I'm not a woo-woo person at all, so I don't pick up on these things. But yeah, I've been to places I'm like, there's something not right here.
Yeah.
So
And
maybe
just the other day we found out, we was talking to some people that used to live there because some people had lived there for like 9 years before the city bought it back over and made it into a museum. But we did find out that the people that lived there, one of their daughters, now we don't know she got ran over and killed there.
Oh gosh.
Oh God.
And it's about 10 or 20 feet out behind the house, which puts it out there by the big dark tree.
yeah, that seems like a dark moment.
Yeah. So, but we don't know how she got ran. We know we got ran over, but we don't know if it's by a lawnmower, by a car, or what. But she did get killed out there.
Just let your mind
My
wander.
goodness.
It's been lawnmower would be kind of specific.
Yeah.
Anyhow, just saying.
Wow.
So you do the tours, the ghost walks, you do the hospital, you do that like every other week. What do you do at the other week? Do you take it off? Or do you actually you still do investigations, right? Your team?
Oh yeah. We still do investigations. We've had 5 investigations so far this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we still do investigations. I kind of leave the first and third weekends open for investigations. So
yeah.
Private ones.
Huh?
Private ones for individuals or
for clients.
For
Yeah,
clients.
for clients.
Okay.
Yeah.
For clients. Okay.
So how many people are on your team now?
I have 15.
15 people.
Wow.
Wow.
That's it.
But I also have 3 other teams going at the same time too. So
What?
I got several teams.
That's it. I can
So
barely
is
manage
this
mine.
just
Right.
full-time job for you? Is this
Uh,
full-time for you then?
Well, I do. I work at a place. I work 9 hours a day, but also keep the other teams going as well. So
Okay, keep that whip cracking, huh?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
There you go. So,
Much,
yeah.
much.
So, wow. So you got almost 50, 60 people that you kind of hang out with.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
I've got on my other teams. I've got the other two teams I have is Dark Dreams Paranormal Society, which is I've kind of got it where different groups can come in and join together and be one big part, happy
Mhm.
family, and
Yeah.
then each other out. I
More
do
of a
have,
society kind of thing. Yeah.
yeah, and then I have we just started up called the Arkansas Redneck Mystery Solvers. Yeah, we do the UFOs, Bigfoots, and all that. And I know, David, you don't like to be poo, but
Yeah.
Come
That's
on,
exactly
Adrian, you got to
correct.
do it one time, just one time.
No, because
I'll be the
all
bait. I'll
all
be the
those-
bait. It's okay.
well, as much as I know that mosquitoes love me and ticks love me and all those ants always
They have
biting on me,
repellents for that.
I guarantee you, if I were to see Bigfoot, he would eat me. That's why I don't want to have anything to do with it, because I must be very tasty. No,
Yeah.
yeah. So you get out there and do investigation. What's your average turnaround? Like if you do an investigation, if you're doing an investigation Saturday, with a client, how soon do you get your evidence back to them?
well, normally it's 2 weeks.
That's what. Yeah, that's a good turnaround time.
The last year's was kind of we broke that record and we had them in a week's time. So
Wow. God, I
I
wish
don't know.
I could do that. I still got some waiting 7 years.
well,
No,
don't get
we
me
give
wrong.
them.
Don't get me
Not-
wrong. I still have
not-
that, but
not for
last year
clients.
was really busy. So
No, not for the client. No, it was just for buildings we investigated.
well,
No.
What's
I
your-
don't know how many Adrian had in them when they were doing it, but normally we average about 30 cases of a year.
Yeah.
Last year we did 143 cases.
Good Lord.
Dang.
You don't have time for family when you do that. That's
Yeah, we was on the go every weekend. We was out and about, and it wasn't just here close. We were going to Taylor, Arkansas, Bay, Arkansas. We went up to West Plains, Missouri. We've gone up to Pangburn, Arkansas. I mean, we've gone all over the place. So we traveled about almost 2,000 miles last year.
That's crazy.
Wow.
No,
What's
I
Arkansas, though. Yeah.
understand.
Question for you here. What of those investigations? You say you did a lot of them. What's the percentage of just you go there and it's a waste of time? You know, there's really nothing there, and compared to something a little bit more serious that you really need to delve into.
Our
Roughly.
percentage on the waste time, we would probably about 20%.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds about right.
Oh,
That
wow.
makes
We got
sense.
people from Norway watching.
See?
I'm sorry.
Worldwide. I'll tell
Worldwide,
you.
yeah.
That's
Polar
a
Nights.
and one.
Thank you
Welcome,
for watching us.
welcome.
But yeah, it was crazy, and last year was a big test for my group because we literally, and a lot of people laugh at us when we say this, but we literally faced the devil last year twice. So
I was getting ready to
Wow.
go there. Because you investigated with Terry Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know when he is coming here from Wichita, they reached out. I was crazy busy at that time. Barely had an opportunity to answer an email from him. And by the time I got back to him, he was talking with you. And I was like, that's cool. I'll let you do it, because I really didn't have time to really do what he was wanting to do. So yeah, he told me, because we went and had dinner a couple weeks back, and he was supposed to be on the show. He was like my first guest, and
he's a busy man.
everything went wrong. And And you talk about spiritual warfare in action. Everything crashed. He couldn't get through. Couldn't do anything.
Oh wow.
My whole. You were there. Don't tell wow.
Wow. When that? Oh.
Yeah. So, so, so the whole. So most of the show. Most of the show was me trying to troubleshoot and get him on, and everything, nothing was working. And he said that he had one investigation that basically just rocked your team.
Yeah. Well, actually, now there's two of them, but
Yeah.
the one probably what he was talking probably was DeQueen, Arkansas, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the big one for us. That really shook us to the core down there. So yeah, it was pretty bad.
Ah,
And,
dang.
and
Did
that's
you
the
have to
thing
get
when you're going. Go ahead, Ken.
Did you have to get additional intervention to help you guys and the family?
Well, the preacher helped us out quite a bit.
Yeah, Terry
Okay.
is pretty hardcore.
Yeah, he helped us really take control back and everything on our what really happened, and it attacked our emotions really bad. And when it figured out our emotions, it attacked everything. And
Wow.
Well, that's what people.
when I talk about it, I really get
No, I get it. I get it
nervous
because
when I
I've been
talk
there.
about it.
Yeah,
I've been
you don't
there.
have to. You don't have to go. I was just
No,
Yeah.
generic answer. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
I love talking about it, but I really still get emotionally when I talk about it because it really
Gotcha.
hit the core of our team, and
Oh.
that's strong enough to pull back and overcome, but they still have that bad memories that
Gotcha.
come back when that's you can just say DeQueen, and then all of a sudden everybody goes back to that one home down there. So,
well, I get it because we had in all our investigations we had one highly malevolent entity, and I do believe it was a demonic case, and we always go back to that case too. Why? Because it really affected our team. It really affected me, and so I get it. So when you come across something evil and not just scary, because sometimes that's scary, goes right, that's just you see a shadow person, but you come across something truly malevolent, it will shake your team. Yeah. So if they have any kind of intelligence, they should be shook, right?
Yeah.
So we got we have a. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I have a question from our Twitch stream. From our Twitch stream? Are you in our Twitch stream? Is that a question from Twitch or from YouTube on yours?
Karen, on YouTube.
Okay. Well, on the Twitch stream, that one, our Norwegian friend is asking, well, first he says, as a barber, I love the men's cams. It is the perfect evolution of beard growth. And then Polar Knights ask, would a medium be able to relate to a ghost that are of the First Nation and not Christian born?
Crickets.
that's a good question.
That is a very good question.
Ask that question one more time.
Yeah, one more.
Would a medium be able to relate to a ghost that are of the First Nation and not Christian born?
Sure, they would.
I would think so. Any ghost.
If you believe in mediums actually being able to do what they say they can, they could be able to communicate with anything, right?
Yep.
So because what level are they communicating on? So no, I would say yes. If you believe in mediums, I do believe in mediums, but it gets kind of sketchy when you get into that. Karen Whitaker on YouTube asked you, Wayne, said, do each of your teams have a specialist to cover house cleansings, or do you have a team intermixed with specialties that are needed at each investigation?
Who wants to answer first? Him, the guest. The guest answers first, always.
Oh, I mean, I'm thinking, when we go in and do an investigation, we will do cleansings and stuff like that. But like I said, we're teamed up with the preacher. If something extreme like that has to have, we call him in. But we do cleansings and stuff like that. But
So when you talk about cleansings, how do you do a cleansing?
Basically, well, me personally, I don't do it. I have somebody else that does it. So
Yeah.
they basically go in. It kind of depends on what cleansing they need.
Yeah.
You have to do our research on what is there, and if it has to do like a Native American cleansing, then that's a total different ballgame than what the rest of it is. So,
Oh yeah.
and I have a person that does the Native American, and of course, to go into that, they would have to have her here, but she's not here. So.
So you do basic like smudging and stuff like that.
Smudging, yeah, we smudge and then we seal the home, and we suggest them to do certain things on the outside of the house as well, so to keep the entity to come back.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh,
Wow.
Did that answer your question, Karen? I don't hear her. No. So yeah, that's pretty wild. I love what we do. I love actually going and helping people. We don't do any cleansings beyond smudging a home. We will smudge a home, but if it comes down to clearing like Terry does, I try to give my clients the tools to do that themselves.
Right,
So,
right.
and I heard that Terry kind of does too, although he takes the initial phase. He tried to get them and part of it. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I've never actually investigated with Terry, but he seems like a force.
Yeah, oh, yeah. It's when we're with him, it's totally. I mean, I thought I knew everything, but no, I don't know. But when he's there, I'm just like I'm a student learning because the things that he does. So yeah, he's a good person and what he does, and he's very good at what he does. But
Karen answered. She said no.
No.
She's saying, for a cleansing, don't you feel it is more of the intent and not the object used to complete the cleansing?
Mm,
I do.
I think it's a little both.
it's
You got to
both.
believe in what you're using in order for it to.
Yeah.
So I
Right.
believe it's a little bit of
Very
both.
true.
Well, I'll put it like this, specifically on somebody like you're doing like a Christian cleansing, right?
Right.
Because if you think something malevolent in there and you think you're trying to do it that way, it doesn't matter if you have a cross in your hand. It's not that does it. It's your faith inside you that is your power.
Right.
Because your power comes from the Holy Spirit that's moving through you, and not you or not your trinkets. And
Then why use the trinket?
huh?
Then
And
why
not
use the
for
trinket?
smoke.
Because that is
Symbolism.
Symbolism.
Okay,
Just
think of it like in witchcraft, and they have the athame. The athame itself is they're blessing it, but it basically all it does is focus their power, right? So
Mhm.
it is something that they use to focus on and channel through. That's kind of what you do. Yeah, the cross to remind you of what you're doing and why you're there for it. But it's not
It
the
gives you a
cross itself.
focus.
Yeah. And I
Mhm.
like to bring up the whole Fright Night, because when he was trying to get the vampire to back off and he held the cross set,
Yeah.
and the vampire reached out and just crushed the cross.
Yep.
Because you have to have faith for that to work on me, because it's the faith that gets you. But that actually that was supposed to be Wayne's answer.
No, that's all right. You did. You did. Yeah, I did.
Wayne just told you what to say, Adrian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
He
used
was telepathically sending it to
used
you
you.
over the
Sitting
wave.
there typing name, you know, telling
he,
I saw you reading,
He
Adrian.
focused on you, Adrian, and used you as the.
he used me as the conduit. Yeah.
Yep.
No, it's great. No, it's fun time. So,
Those were some good answers. Thank you. Seriously.
what do you so if you are investigating every other week and you're doing tours every other week, when do you ever have just Wayne time?
What's that?
What?
What's
No,
Wayne time?
there's no.
That Wayne time went by about 10 or 20 years ago. What are you talking about?
Well, second Wednesday of every other month, I can do this.
Now, it don't work that way, especially when you're trying to keep two people, got, doing the tours and stuff, and doing private investigation. Plus, I've got a store that I'm running too. So,
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Do you
Well-
actually give the tours? Do you
uh,
actually, or
well,
do you have several people?
here lately, I've been training other people to do it. Last year, I did it all myself here in
Okay.
town. But since we picked up the hospital, I have to be at that place instead of here in town. So I've been training the people to take over and do the downtown tour stuff. And while I'll go to the hospital and take over that one.
Okay. When you described the Van Buren, the town itself, the picture I was kind of getting in my third eye here was that kind of reminded me of was like an old west town.
Yeah. Mhm.
Basically,
And
what you would kind of classify as an old west town.
Yeah, and most of the buildings here in town are the original buildings anyway.
Wow.
Okay.
And they do a lot of filming movies here in town. So there's
Yeah.
a lot of
Oh,
movies
okay.
out there that's been filmed here in town as well.
Biloxi
very
Blues was filmed there.
Yeah,
I did
yeah,
part of it, and
and Jesse James was one part of it.
yes,
That's cool.
The last one that they had come out a couple years ago was called the Riot Act.
yeah.
That was filmed here in town at the King Opera House and all up here in town. They shut it down and put all the dirt on the roads and made it all Western type. And so, yeah, that was the last one that they filmed here was the Riot Act.
Huh.
Yeah, very
You
cool.
now you talk about the King Opera House. Have you been in there yet?
Yes, I've been
Yeah.
there 5 times already.
Yeah. See,
What?
well, I hadn't been there
I
because
want to go
tried
there too.
Well, I tried. I tried to go there years ago, and they're like, "Oh, we don't want to be known about ghosts." But I know that it's under new management now, so
Right.
I haven't had a. Maybe we'll have to make a time and go on out there and check it out because
Sounds like we're going to need a week.
a week.
I have a question. I'm not from Arkansas, and I know a lot of other people aren't. So, where in Arkansas is Van Buren?
It's right over there.
No,
I don't know if you're
that's
pointing
that's
east, west,
Oklahoma.
north, south.
No, Oklahoma's that way.
Okay, so if Oklahoma's that way, that's west. So he was pointing east. So it's near Little Rock.
It's about what 2 hours west of Little Rock, right? Two and a half.
Yeah.
Oh, so right next door to you.
Yeah, it's right across the river from me. So.
So close to Fort
Oh.
Smith, then.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you know where Adrian lives at, I'm just across the river on the east side of the river. this way.
Oh,
Cool.
Right now, you don't want to go across the bridge because it's
I know where
construction.
Adrian lives.
I know where I live too.
Yeah, they're doing construction work on the bridge, so
Yeah, it's most terrible. They said 4
Yeah.
months. 4 months they're saying, right? 4 months. It's terrible.
You know, that's what they said about this
July
bridge out here
31st.
too, and it's been 5 years.
No,
Mhm.
terrible.
and July 31st is going to be supposed to be the last day of the construction. So
Oh yeah, great.
Mm.
I'm glad I don't have to go that way.
I have to go. I have to travel that way every night. Go to work.
Work. That night work is a shame. I did it for years, but
I did
Anyhow.
too. I won't do it again.
don't want to. So, all right. So we want to do that again. We talked about it earlier. I'm going to talk about it again. How do people get a hold of Wayne and the Arkansas Ghost Hunters of Crawford County because they want to go on a walk or want to go check out this hospital with you, which is a great thing. I want to add some money to that myself because that sounds like a great deal. But go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, it's everybody can contact us by calling 479-279-0202 and leave a message. We will get call back or you can come down to our office at 522 Main Street, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Can they contact you through Facebook as well?
Yeah, I take messages through Facebook. You just have to punch the message thing and away it goes.
Just do it. Do it.
What's the Facebook page?
Arkansas Ghost Hunters of Crawford County.
It's long.
That sounds familiar. I've heard that before. I wrote it down twice. Okay, got it.
But yeah, that's great. I like the opportunity not only for people to get out there and do it, go check out this haunted stuff, and everybody loves a ghost story. We know that. But the opportunity that people can actually go and enjoy a hunt, and that money actually going to the restoration of the building is fantastic, because
Yes.
that's what's so cool about the paranormal. We get to shine light on history that's forgotten.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, everybody knows the big stories, but the little stories are really interesting too. So
Yeah.
to hear, and I love any kind of thing medical. I wonder why. Maybe anyhow. So no, that's great. I wish you a lot of luck for your future endeavors with the hospital there, and how often do you do? I mean, you say you do that every other weekend.
Second, fourth weekend of every month. Yeah.
Second, fourth weekend of every month. And you said it's 4 hours?
4 hours investigation, and then you sleep over.
And sleep over.
Yeah.
Are there like you got to bring your own stuff for
Yeah,
sleepover?
you have to bring your own stuff. There's no
cots.
beds in the hospital.
And you
So
make
cots.
and you make biscuits and gravy for everybody in the morning?
We went down the road and get some Indian food for you.
Do you were talking about the Opera House a bit ago. Do you find, and you say you've investigated there, do you find a lot of activity there? I know I've investigated a lot of theaters, a few opera houses, places, that involve people acting and emotions and stuff like that. They are pretty active as far as what I've seen. What about your experience?
Well, the King Opera House is, we've seen some apparitions in there that was across the balcony. It's supposed to be where the young girl has hung herself up there because she had a broken heart. But we've seen an apparition up in there. We've heard footsteps across the stage, very pronounced footsteps. Actually, the steps that run up the side of the stage and goes onto the stage, you can hear each run crack as the footstep went up and actually go across the stage. And we've heard children playing up under the stage. They're the ones that they like to turn off lights, on lights, open doors and stuff like that. And you can hear them playing around underneath that. Who they are, we don't really know. The children, why there's children there. And there was a guy that we assumed it was an actor there. He's dressed in plaid and blue jeans, but he's always up on stage where we're seeing him at.
And this is the gentleman who's supposed to have been killed, right?
Yeah. Well, not in the opera house itself. Generally, they could have passed away and came back because they just left the place. Now the girl that's been reported that was hung there, or she committed suicide there, she's the one that everybody sees up in the balcony area.
Okay.
And all the times we've been there, we've only seen her once, and we've been in it 5 times so far this year. So,
okay. Besides being thrown out of the Masonic Hall, what are your other weirdest experiences?
that
you come across?
I mean, like I said, we don't really have we don't really have the weird experiences.
Okay, no, that's fine.
But I keep going back to the haunting things are the ones that really got to us. The other place was called Altus, Arkansas, and that was when we ran into a skinwalker.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that property had a skinwalker on it. We ran into it. We found a place in the back where they were actually doing a satanic worshiping area in the back that was covered up. And we ran across it. There was a tree back there that they called it the hanging tree, and it was actually still standing. It had graves under it.
oh wow.
Oh my Lord.
There's a pond down behind there. Wasn't a real deep pond, but there was 3 drownings, and they were intentional drownings, and they were kids. This land, this property down there had a lot of bad things going on in it, and 2 of my guys were actually making their way off in the back, and we were up in the front. Terry was actually there. He's inside the house. Them guys were walking around in the back, and they got to the back where they thought they was not coming back. And they started yelling on the radio to tell their loved ones that they love them and all that, because they felt like they was not making it back from where they're at.
Wow.
Wow.
So
Okay.
that place was
Oh
really,
my gosh.
that place was real bad. But,
Yeah.
and I hate to say, both places are still active, because when Terry was getting close enough, they attacked the owner.
Yeah.
The owner attacked us, and we had to leave.
Yeah.
Wow.
It took us an hour and a half to set our equipment up. He gave us 10 minutes to get out,
Holy cow.
Wow.
or else. So
Good times.
yeah,
Wow.
so yeah. That was in Altus. Now the one down in DeQueen, those people moved out. They still have the house, but they don't let nobody in it. So
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. What got you interested in all of this stuff, years ago?
well, believe it or not, it was actually watching TV show, watching
Yeah.
Ghost Caps. Matter of fact,
Okay.
I was actually out on a medical leave from work, and been out for almost a year. Had a total replacement on my shoulder, and I was watching Taps. I turned around and told my wife, I like to do that and help people out around here. He goes, well, the budget,
Very good.
go for it. And that's where it started. So.
Wow. Very good. Interesting.
A lot of people did start like that. So
Yeah.
it's funny.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I liked ghost hunters.
Experience or anything on it. A lot of people
Oh,
say
I
they had
did.
experience, but me, I was just interested in paranormal, and I wanted to learn more, and I still learn. I'm learning every day about what's out there and what can happen. And
So you never had an experience before you started doing it?
when I first started out, I did not have an experience at all. I just was
Wow.
curious of what was going on and what I could learn to help people out.
Just flung yourself headfirst into it.
Basically, my first place was actually my sister's house, and found out that it was very active. And then the second one was actually a firehouse that we did, and got a disembodied voice telling one of my members her last name. Matter of fact, it was so real.
That's wild. Yeah.
Because I went in and said, I told him my name's Wayne, and this is Belinda, but we didn't say anything about it. Last names. I went back and listened to the recorder. When Belinda said my name's Belinda, it came back and gave her the name very pronounced.
Wow.
Belinda
That's
never told
cool.
me that story. That's cool.
Yeah.
That
That's
is an
cool.
amazing feeling when they say your name, and I've had one spirit say my last name, but it was at a library that our family frequented. All my kids worked there, so they knew the last name, but the spirit actually said my last name, and I captured it on audio.
They said your last name?
They said my last name. Yep.
Pretty impressive.
Wow.
I use it in one of my matter of fact, you guys will hear it in September.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
it's crazy.
We need to wrap the show up because Wayne's got to work tonight, and he said he's got to leave. He's got to get ready.
Ooh.
He got to go make himself beautiful because boy, that looks ugly right now.
Well, I got one more thing real quick.
What's that?
Polar Night states that there was only one really scary thing that ever happened to their granny. She did see her spitting image as a ghost, and she died a week later.
Oh no!
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's wild.
that is scary, and that might be something we can talk about. I don't know, maybe soon, because I think that's an interesting.
Like dreams,
Mm-hmm.
basically dreams and visions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And
before we-
the thing down at the hospital, we had several people take pictures and actually get image of a man there. And as we looked at the pictures that they had at the hospital, it matched it up to the doctor.
Oh,
They actually
wow.
took pictures
Nice.
of the doctor by taking pictures, and we matched them up with the picture they had of the doctor, and it's spot on.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's
That's awesome.
Wow, that is cool. Well, yeah, it's 8:01, so
Yeah.
we're gonna
Yeah.
hold it.
Yeah.
Stay put. Thank you guys for watching. Go to the YouTube channel and watch the other lives if you haven't watched them. You can go to Twitch and watch them. You can go to Kick and watch them. There's many
Yeah.
places that you can go to and watch these shows that we have seen live. Twitch unfortunately only holds them for a week, so go to the YouTube. It holds them forever. Until then, I have a podcast coming out the first Sunday of May, and we have conventions coming up that we're going to. We have an
Yes.
investigation coming up in June that we're going to. Another investigation in November. 2 investigations in November for me, because I'm going to be going to the one on Veterans Day, and then the
Cool.
one on the house that we're going
McIntyre
to.
Villa?
Yes, McIntyre Villa. Oh my God, I couldn't think of it. I'm trying to rush and get everything out. We also have Border Town coming up in September, and
September 30th.
SilCon, and the Expo. So we are going to be busy bees coming up later
Get
on in
ready.
the year.
Getting ready to be busy.
And
Yep.
next week is Mo, and we're going to talk to KD and KT Stafford
Excellent.
from Supernatural Inc. next week about all sorts of stuff that they're getting into, especially
Nice.
the equipment side.
Cannot wait for that.
Should be
That'll
pretty
be a good one.
interesting.
It's
All
going
right,
to be
Wayne.
awesome. All right, y'all. See y'all
Thank
Wayne,
you,
later.
Wayne,
thank
for
you.
joining us.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you,
you for
Wayne.
everybody.
joining.
Nice to meet you.
Bye, everybody.
Great,
Bye.
great stuff.